Hello, hello, hello. It's Marilyn Alori, and welcome to Who Can It Be Now? And I am recording 2 episodes today because I am behind, and I feel bad for the people who work with me, who are waiting for me to get their job done, and I'm behind. And today we're going to be talking about intuition, and I'm going to be talking a bit about dimensional shifts and what that means right now for the timing that we're in, and how I don't think it's about collapsing time, how I think it's about something else altogether. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Before I go into that, I am going to do a little promo for myself. I am doing these strategy calls now, and I just got off of one with an amazing woman, and it was so much fun. I actually have to figure out how to stay within the time that I stay in because I meet these people, and I'm just loving helping them to get clarity on their career, and they're tapping into their soul and owning what they're doing and moving forward. And I'm um, very impressed by the people that are booking the sessions, but I'm also feel very blessed to be able to sit in the arena, whatever we want to call it, with such greatness. There's so much greatness out there, and people aren't using their greatness, and they're going out in the world. And it's because they have belief systems that are standing between what they're meant to do and who they are today. And those belief systems really have to be looked at and rewritten. So I want to encourage all of you who believe you have this incredible gift, you do, and you want to get it out into the world, and you don't know how to get it out in the world, or you're trying to figure it out, or get the courage, or get the confidence, or you're waiting till tomorrow. Don't do that. Don't wait till tomorrow. I would love for you to book a strategy call, marilynalori.com/call /call. They're intuitive life strategy sessions. I don't know how long I'm going to be doing them for, so you may be listening to this a year down the line, and I may not be doing them then. I don't know how long I'll be doing them for, but we'll make sure that page directs to something that we're doing, that I'm doing. But right now, if you're listening to this, and I would get on there and go check it out. Even if you're listening to 6 months from now, check it out, because I am really evolving into this incredible human being. I am evolving. Ask people on the tennis court, they may say different. Evolving into who I truly am and who I'm really here to be. And I really want to. It's not that I want to. I am doing this. I'm supporting people in their expansion. I have a couple of coaching clients too. I have more than a couple. I only take very I have a handful of coaching clients right now. And one of them said to me today, she goes, and she's pretty up there in terms of her work and the work that she does and the people she's around. She's bound some really big players. And she said to me today, I've never had a coach like you. And this might sound like an all self promo, like kissing in the ass, but it's really not. I want to teach you something about when you hire a coach right now. She said to me, I've never had a coach like you who really holds space for me, who really holds space for the other person. And really, it's not about you. It's not about me when I'm coaching someone. It's really about the person I'm coaching. She was talking about herself. It's really about me. And I can feel that. And you're really here for me for my expansion. And you're really here for me and for my success. And you're seeing even bigger than I am. And I've never had a coach do this for me. And I'm probably one of the not as expensive coaches as this woman has invested in, right? And as much as I hear that, right, and I receive it, and it's true, because I really care about people and their acceleration and their growth and their expansion and their gifts. And I do, and I've heard this from my coaching clients actually, and people in next level living, that I'm able to see it and I hold it for them and I hold that space for them. And sometimes I give them a little kick in the butt if they're not getting into it. But for most part, these people are doing the work and they're going towards it. And the reason why I share this is because this woman was questioning working with me, and I didn't push it because I'm like, I'm not a big salesy person. I'm like, look, this is what I've got. It's freaking awesome. If you want to see change in your life, come join, right? And that's how I feel. I'm going to teach you about something about sales too, real quick, but not yet. And so when I was talking to her, I did a session with her, and we were talking a bit afterwards, and not on the call, and not afterwards. Doesn't matter. You don't need to know how. And she was telling me, who do I need to work with? Blah, blah. She was asking me. And I said, look, whoever you work with, you've got to make sure that they're able to see bigger than you, and they're able to really help you and guide you towards it. And I'm making sure my mic is on. My mic better be on. You know what I don't like about StreamYard? You can't pause it. Um, hmm. Just bear with me for a second. Yes, it's on. Okay. I just wanted to make sure it's picking me up because it was like, wasn't sure. And you could just leave that in, Ricky. I don't care about stuff like this. It's me in real time. So anyway, because I was talking to her and everything, and she chose, she chose to work with me, and she's really happy she did, and I'm really happy she did too because she's great. So I want you to find a coach that isn't all about themselves. Like they just talk about themselves, like this is what I've done. Of course, I'm telling you a little bit like what I do for people, right? But when my time with you is about you. It's about growing you. It's about expanding you. And I want you to find that in a coach. I want you to find someone who sees bigger than you. I actually have someone in my arena right now who I'm working with. And when I talk about my expansion, I notice that they're not able to take it in. They're really good at asking questions about the limiting beliefs or what's maybe causing or friction in my life. But when it comes to my expansion, it's like I hit a brick wall. And that's okay. It's something I've noticed for some time, but I'm still getting something out of the sessions, but it probably won't go for a really long time. I could feel that right away. So find a coach who really can help you. If you're interested in a strategy call, go to marilynlauria.com/call. If you're interested in next level living, go to marilynlauria.com/next. Okay, moving on. Sales. We're going to talk about that really quick. Then we're going to go into intuition, and I'm going to talk a tiny bit about dimensional shifts, and I'll go into that a little bit more down the line. One of the things about sales, people have a really hard time selling their product. And I was like that totally. I was like, I can't sell. I just can't do it. And I would get on, I've shared a little bit about this too. And I would get on lives. And usually when I did launches, they went really, really well. And then they stopped not doing so well. And I'd be like, friggin' people, man, taking all the free stuff. And then they just disappear. And I don't, if somebody's not going to buy, they're not going to buy. But crickets, I don't like. And I've talked about this before in this podcast. I'm like, it pisses me off, man. You take all the free stuff and then it's like crickets. Tell me if I'm sending you a video message going, hey, you were you're really active and I think this would be a great program for you. Just let me know either way. Don't not respond. I just think that says it's poor sportsmanship, in my opinion. Now, I shouldn't care, right? And I really don't, because now I don't. Then I would say, wow, I'm putting a lot of effort into this. What's going on? And what I realized is they weren't my audience. I'm dealing with people who are very direct now, who are very in their power, who aren't afraid to say no to me if they want to say no, or yes to me if they want to say yes, who just will respond. Like, you're not, it hurts my feelings more if you don't respond than if you respond and say, hey, I'm not going to do this right now. I may push back a little bit and just say why, but you get to choose what's best for you. So when I do sales of any type of sales, if I'm not putting the power in your hands to make the decision, I'm not doing my job as a teacher. So my goal as a teacher is, yes, here it is. Here's the offer. I think it's phenomenal. I think it would be great for you. And then if you're not, then you have to decide. I'm not going to manipulate you into deciding, because I only want people in my programs who really want to be there, whether they're scared or not. That's normal. You're going to be scared going into something new. So the one thing I learned about sales, something I've learned recently, is if you don't see yourself and you don't see yourself in the work that you do, no one else is going to see it either. A lot of people in sales, they approach sales like, and I did too. So this is why I understand this. See me, see me, see me. Look at what I'm doing. Look at the testimonials. I'm very uncomfortable with testimonials, and we use them. And now I'm not so uncomfortable with them. Now I'm like, fuck yeah, man. That's the truth. Put it out there. Thank you, Susan. Susan's like one of my clients who I adore. And I actually have two clients soon, so but whatever, it doesn't matter. You don't need to know that. And when she says stuff now, I'm like, thank you. That's great. Thank you. Now, I don't take it in a way that's like my feathers are so high and mighty, but I do receive it. So the point that I'm trying to make is, if you don't see yourself, no one's going to see you. And you're going to sit there and you're going to try to convince them of your services. But if you're not owning your services, you can't convince anyone. It doesn't matter. Or if you do, it's going to fall flat, right? You're not going to be able to follow through, do what you need to do what you said to do, or you're going to find that people are going to buy and then it's just not going to work out. So one of the things, like readings for me, sold out the gate for me, because I knew from the feedback how good I was at them. And I'm going to stand here in the confidence. It's not ego. I'm friggin' really good at them, right? So strategy sessions, you get some of that in there. You get that energy in the beginning. And really, I'm kind of connecting with my guides throughout the whole thing, but it's not like a reading. In the beginning, you get a tiny bit of that though, for sure. So with that said, I saw myself as a reader, right? I even though I like went through different struggles. Then as a teacher, I know I'm really good at teaching. I'm really good at it. But there were different iterations where I was putting a product out and maybe I wasn't feeling super confident with the product and I was trying to convince people to buy the product. If I don't see the product and I don't see myself, they're not going to see it either. And now, like the work I'm doing, this is why I'm saying I'm evolving so much. Oh, I have a story for you guys. I have a story for you guys. I promise I'll get to intuition and the other stuff. I may have to go get my dog. So now I so believe in next level living because I'm seeing how they're breaking through the ceilings and they are owning their gifts and they are just wow what's coming out of them in that program. And I love, love, love the work in there because we are next leveling the work. I could sell that like nobody's business. And what I mean by that, it's not like convincing you to join. It's I can stand behind the work because I see myself in the work. I see the work. And that's not to say I've had many programs where people have had huge results, but there's something about this and seeing myself in it that it's easy for me to say to you, hey, you want to come to Next Level Living? It is going to blow your mind. And there's no pushing. I just shared it with one of the strategists. I was like, look, I really feel like you'd be great for this, but I'm not going to convince you here. I'm going to send you the product page, take a look at it. And I wouldn't make the offer if I didn't think the person was right for it because we are only letting in people at a certain consciousness. I hate to say that, but it's true. Let me say it this way. People who want to do the work, who aren't victims. I can't work with victims. I just can't. Doesn't mean you're not going to go through something in your life that may be a little disappointing, but the people in Next Level Living are people who are taking responsibility for their life and changing things. Okay. Let me move into a story, but okay, I can move into the story. I'm going to have to go soon. This is going to be another fast one. Woohoo! Fast podcast. I may have to go get my dog. All right. I'm going to give it another minute, see what happens. So this weekend, last weekend, I didn't share this yet. Okay. I sent out strategy calls. And somebody wrote me, look, you don't like my pricing? Get off my list. It's that simple. Or just take the free stuff. That's it. The podcast is free. YouTube. I just went to my Facebook business page. I didn't even realize this. I have videos on there with like 19,000 views. There's so much free content out there. And I'm glad there's free content out there to help people. I'm happy to do that. I don't mind that at all. My personal Facebook page, I'm constantly sharing resources and stuff. So I sent out an email about these strategy calls, right? And this woman wrote back and it was really kind of nasty. And she was like, how dare you? Who do you think you are to charge this much? I'm sure other people are annoyed by this too. It was basically like that. And I read it. Normally I ignore those things and I'm just like, whatever, you have your opinion. But there's something happened to me lately. And I'm tired of swallowing my voice. I'm done. So I was like, first of all, I'm removing you from my list because if this is a problem, you shouldn't be on my list because I want people on my list who want to make money, who deserve to make money. Maybe they're not interested in making money. That's fine. Maybe they want to do something else. I don't care. But I'm not going to go on someone's list. Somebody tells me they're 50K for an hour. What is Tony Robbins? 100K for an hour. Good for Tony Robbins. I don't care. Am I buying it? No. But good for him. I'm not going to go on his list and say, how dare you? Good for you. So I wrote her back and I said, I can't remember exactly what I said, but I said, it's that good because it's worth it because I'm that good and it's worth it. And I said, and you deserve to invest in yourself. And then I said, I removed you from my list because it's obvious you're not in alignment with what I do. And that's okay. Everybody has the right to choose. Something like that I wrote. And I just signed it off. And she didn't write back, which was fine. But I didn't I was annoyed at there because you don't need to send emails like that. You just don't. But and I'm sorry, I'm gonna have an opinion about this. And if you tell me turn the other cheek, it's like, no, I'm sorry. It's who I am. It's who I am. Again, it doesn't always bother me. There's a belief out there that if you're spiritual, you're not supposed to be. What the F, man? Stop with that nonsense. A doctor charges, a dentist charges, a psychologist charges. An intuitive has the right to charge too. I invest in myself to be at the level I'm at in order to teach other people and help other people. So I'm investing in people. So anyway, so that's what I'd say about that. Because part of the conversation I had with this woman, I just did the strategy session. She was like, what if, you get bad comments from people? And sometimes, for me personally, sometimes they do rile you up a bit. And you just have to learn what you need to learn from it and move on. Sometimes I'll write back. Sometimes I won't. Sometimes I'll ignore it. I had a guy on Instagram, this fucker, and I was like writing about next level living or something, and he like gave me his definition of next level living, and I was like, that's a great definition, really cool, thank you for sharing. And he's like, follow me for more tips. And I'm like, F you, dude. First of all, I was like, is he following me? He wasn't following me. He just went onto my profile and starts, spewing his bullshit to grab my people. Not that I have even that many people on Instagram. And I wrote back and I said, I have enough tips, thanks. I said, I teach this stuff, I have enough tips, thanks anyway. And it's stuff like that just because I don't go on people's profiles and I don't look to poach clients and I don't look to like, I'll share expertise. There's nothing wrong with going into a Facebook group, sharing an expertise to help someone. But to advertise your services, I'm against that. I really am. It's somebody else is running that Facebook group. Unless the group is designed for that, a lot of groups are advertising their own personal services. So don't go in and poach that shit. It's not scarcity. And it's not scarcity for me either. It feels rude is what it does. It feels like, yo, dude, I don't even know you. So, but point is, I'm very opinionated about this stuff. I came out of the womb, I think, with this little like righteousness of the underdog or something. I don't know, like, Brad, don't do that. But he gets to be who he wants to be, and that's fine. I really, honestly, I don't care. It riled me up for about a second. I wrote my tip thing back and I saw, I don't care. I didn't even remove the comments or anything. I don't give a shit. Do what you got to do, buddy. If you want to try to like, my clients want to go to you, let them go to you. That's another thing I don't care about. Have never had from the day one. I share other people's names. So be generous because there's enough work out there. I don't know where this thought, like there's not enough work out there. Okay, intuition. Let's go into that real quick. It's really important that you follow your intuition. You really need to know where your intuition lives in your physical body, your instrument. We talked about instrument in the episode before, which I believe is 139 or 140. I don't know. Just look for the title. Your body is the instrument. And really getting in touch with your intuition is going to help you to make very, very good decisions. Okay, Ricky, cut this part out because I'm going to go get my dog and I need to finish this podcast. Make her come. Stop it. Stop the barking. No more. All right, he didn't come in, Ricky, but so he may just continue barking. Thank you. So you have to know where your intuition is in your body, right? So mine lives in my third chakra where clairsentience is. It could live in your heart. It could live in your throat. It could live in multiple places. You want to know the feeling of it so that you're trusting it and then making decisions from it. So I want to share a couple of stories. One of the stories is I was looking for a handyman to build a lift for my dog because he's having trouble with stairs and I live in a hillside home. And so I was asking people for names of handymans and I was gathering a bunch of names and nobody really resonated or felt right to me. And I did ask one handyman who I've worked with before and he was like, I can do it for you. I can do it for you. I can do it for you. And I was like, okay, maybe he can. Maybe he can. This is going to be a little difficult. I'm sending him YouTube videos. And then he wrote me, he called me. He's like, I can't do it. I just blah, 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 whatever. So I was in the form of gathering. And I was walking down the block one day, walking my dogs. And this guy said something to me at my neighbor's house and we started talking. And I was like, wait a second, are you a handyman? And he said, yeah, I am, blah, blah, blah. And we started talking and he gave me his card and his name. And I was like, in my intuition, I was like, he's the guy. He's the guy. And so I came home and I was still hesitant because it's a big job. Somebody really has to figure out how to do this. And I don't have the plans and you got to figure it out. And I was like, you know what? He's the guy. I know it. And I couldn't remember his name. I couldn't find the card. I didn't know my neighbor's names because I'm the worst at names. I'm just horrible at it. And so I asked another neighbor, I texted another neighbor and she's like, this is their name. I wrote them a letter. I put it in their mailbox. And then that day I called like 4 handymen and construction workers. Right. And then my neighbor finally texted me that night, the information I needed. So the next morning, nobody called me back. I called that one handyman that I felt was it. He called me back within a minute Came over an hour later. He's now doing the job. My intuition told me right away he was the person. And he's been over here a couple of times. He's a bit eccentric. I really like him, actually. He's super smart, really cares, really is thinking it through, because like I said, it's not an easy job. My dog's 100 pounds and we've got to figure out how to build a lift going up the stairs. He's watching YouTube videos, he's calling people, he's like asking people. And I really appreciate everything. And I'm going to do a video once it's built, and when he's building it on the stairs and putting it in, and when the dog's going up. So I'll do a video on it, and I'll put it on YouTube Shorts, Instagram, and Facebook, so you can see it. My point is, it's really important. I have a lot. I'm recording this May 25th, 2023 at 5:07 p.m. And I have a lot of personal things going on right now and a lot of business things going on at the same time. So that's when it's like, it could be like, you feel like you're just running back and forth, different things. Hope you like my sound effects. And so I had another intuitive thing where I had a thing with home insurance, because we live in an area where there's fire. And my insurance broker that I had, I'm not sure if I'm ready to tell the story. Let's just put it this way. She was pissing, not the main broker, the other broker was pissing me off. She was telling me, they're going to drop you because you need to da-da-da-da-da. You need to do this. And it had nothing to do with fire. I had to do it at my house. And I'm like, it was about my roof. I'm like, my roof is fine. I don't know what the heck you're talking about. She was pissed off at me that I was like, my roof, we just went through the biggest storms. I know my roof is in excellent condition. I know it. And she's like, what are you going to do about the roof? They're going to, it was like that kind of energy. And so the insurance company was dropping me. And I was going around talking to all my neighbors, because that's the way I am. Like, who's your insurance company? Who's your insurance company? Who's your insurance company? Da, da, da. Then I texted the same neighbor who gave me the neighbors' names. I texted them and I was like, who's your insurance company? And then he called me back, the husband, and he's like, look, go to the realtors, find out who's writing. He's giving me all this great advice. I really have great neighbors, I have to tell you. You've never heard me say anything positive about my town. I've decided to move, so now everything's turning up roses. Just want you to know, turning up daisies. But I really have great neighbors, really great neighbors. And so I was like, thank you, that's so smart. And I go to an open house, and I already decided. So I go to the tennis court. I'm like, who's your realtor? Who's your realtor? And all of a sudden, this name's starting to come up. And I'm like, and it was an insurance broker company that I had a bad experience with like 15 years ago. The broker I had a bad experience with. I got into a car accident. The guy hit me. And then he didn't leave his insurance. And he had alcohol on his breath. And I let him go. I just took his license down. And then I contacted him, his phone number. And he was like, yeah. Just send me the stuff. I'll fix it. I'll pay for it out of pocket. And then I called him again to tell him the price. And he was like, I'm not paying that. Why don't you go out with me? And he asked me out on a date. And I was like, no. So I called my insurance broker and I was like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I didn't know what insurance brokers were. I was treating them like therapists at that time in my life. I'm like, I don't get it. Like, this guy, and then I didn't know. And then he asked me out on a date. Like, what's going on? And she got really nasty with me. And she was like, look, you're no great thing for us. You've already had a bunch of claims. Like, it was really nasty. So I was like, I'm never fucking going with these people again. And I had to get a lawyer involved because it wasn't my fault. It was just mayhem. So this name came up a couple of times, and my intuition said, oh, your broker, those brokers, they are designated only for that. Your brokers don't do that insurance because they only have designated insurance brokers. So my guides were like, call. And they said, call this one. Because I got a bunch of names. And I called. And we'll see what happens. But for the most part, I'm insured. So you just want to follow. These are big decisions. You may not think they are, but the lift for my dog has been a big problem. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to move because he can't do the stairs. And I live in a hillside house. Insurance for my house is a big thing, right? So these are big things. And I just kept trusting my intuition and following it and going here and going there and going here. I had another one that came up and I can't recall it now. So trust your intuition because it's really telling you what to do. Know where it lives. It's usually, for me, like if you listen to that one about your body as your instrument, my intuition is very like, it's almost like that quiet voice that's very strong. It doesn't have emotions to it. It's not like, hey, do this, or it doesn't do, I don't have a lot of sound effects. I don't know why. It doesn't do any of that. It's just kind of this, do this. And I'm like, that's my intuition. I'm going to do that. I have another intuitive thing. So I am preparing my house to sell. I needed a good handyman. So now this handyman, I've already showed him things and he's like, oh, I could do that. Da, 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 da. He really knows his stuff. And I'm like, great. It's all falling into place. And I had an insurance broker who sold me this house, the person who helped me when I was buying. And I always figured she'd be the one. But I've got really screwed in LA. I went I'm not going to get into that whole story. And I was like, I got to interview people. Something is telling me I have to interview people. And all along, she was like the main person I was going to go to. And I was like, even when I went into open houses, because I'm checking out what the market's doing right now. And realtors would be like all over me, like, wow, let me, you need anyone? I'm like, no, I'm with blah, 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 blah. And there was something inside of me. It's like, you need to interview other people. You really do. And so I was talking to the insurance broker, the main person that I was going to use. She was the main person. I was going to use her no matter what, but I felt like, you know what, you should interview other people. But I didn't say anything to her because I wanted to have a conversation with her first. I wanted to see what she would do, how she would do it, things like that. And she texted me one day and she's like, my intuition's telling me you're talking to other people. And I was like, I'm not really, but I'm thinking about it. And I just think because I got so screwed in LA, this is the best thing for me to do. I need to ask other people. And she said, okay, that's fine. And then I was asking her about insurance broker because, the guy said, talk to realtors who's writing and stuff like that. And all of a sudden I get a text like, hey, I'm not going to be in competition with other people. I'm pulling myself out and I'm not going to do this. And I was like, what? Okay. And, she's got every right to do that. And she is a great person. I don't want to say anything bad about her. She's a great realtor. But she also deals with multiple $1 million homes and things like that. And right away I was like, oh no, I got to talk to her because I was like, this is a friend. I consider her a friend. She's a beautiful soul. But my other side with me was like, oh, the universe just figured this out for me. It just took care of it. My intuition was like, this is what needs to happen. So I called her and we talked it out because the friendship's important to me and she's important to me. And I could tell, like, from listening to her, I also asked her a question, something, it was a deciding factor of something. And I'm not going to get into that because I don't know if she listens. I don't know if people know who it is, if they listen to me. I don't want to really, this woman's amazing, amazing, amazing person, amazing realtor. And, but we decided on the call, no, it wasn't going to work. And I really feel both our intuition came in and said this was not the right partnership. And something else happened, like I had something happened a day later where I was like, yeah, this was really smart. It was smart for her to say that. I'm glad she was direct and said, this isn't going to work. And I knew, like, so when I got off that call with her and we were fine, right? I wanted to make sure we were fine because, like I said, she's important to me. I called one of my friends and I told her the story and I was like, what do you think? And she's like, no, you don't want to be with someone like that right now. She's, doing the right thing by taking herself out of it. And you want to be with somebody, you want to be able to have the power when you're talking to people and everything. And you want to talk to more than one person. You have to talk to more than one person. So you have to follow your intuition. It's going to help you make all these decisions and all these choices that are really going to help you move along in your life. And you really need to know how your intuition is speaking to you. I do have a video on YouTube that I did years ago about intuition. So just do Marilyn Aloria and intuition, and it should come up, and watch it. It'll help you understand how to develop your intuition. Know that when developing your intuition, you usually realize that you're developing it when you get something wrong, when you go against it. Everybody's like, but why do we always go against it? I'm like, that's how you learn. Because that's how you learn the feelings. Like, oh, that was the feeling and I went against it. Oh, there's the feeling again and I went against it. Oh, there's the feeling. I'm not going to go against it. And it usually is like that. So I have some more stories, but I'll share that another time. I'm going to give you just a brief because I'm going to start doing shorter podcasts, I think. Which my assistant will love because she was like, why don't you do them shorter? And I'm like, no, I like talking for a really long time, but now I'm doing shorter. This paradigm, this dimensional shift. So what's been happening to me for quite a few months is I am seeing things physically seeing things in the space that are not there. Now, I've always kind of seen that, but now it's so much more prominent than it's ever been. And I'll explain it to you this way. So some of you may think you're seeing a person there and all of a sudden you turn around and it's a lamppost, right? So that's how it used to show up for me. I'd be like, what's that kid doing in blue shorts down there with his dad? Like, why is he hanging out? And then I'll go down there and it's a fire hydrant where I know I'm seeing the kid and the father and the whole thing. But then when your brain turns on, it's like, oh no, there can't be that spirit there. And it's my eyes are open. It's not a third eye projection. It is physical, 3-dimensional people that you could like touch, you know? So now it's been other things, like it's been objects showing up, or doorways, or light, or um, poles, or wolves, or, you know, really like other things. And I'm like, what the F is going on here? Because everywhere I go, I'm seeing things. And then I'm like, and I'm looking right at it. And then I look again and I don't look away really. Sometimes I do. And I'm like, it's not there. Or sometimes I'm just staring and I'm like, why is there like this like tear, this light, this, what is that? And I'm just staring at it and then it'll go away. And I remember before I moved to Marin, I was hiking this one powerful, powerful hike for me that I used to go on all the time. And I was seeing this block of energy that had all this kind of like squiggly lines in it. And it was in front of me. And I was like, wow, that's time. That's the vibration. That's all the energy together. That's a doorway that you could walk through. And I saw it in my garden. I saw it on the hike. And so now it's, oh no. Oh, it's still live. Okay, the video just froze. My internet has been going in and out, but my video froze, but I could tell it's still recording, which is good. Hopefully you can still hear me. So anyway, and if it's not, well, then you'll wait to be continued. My video didn't come back on. So anyway, what I'm noticing is that this is time. You don't have to collapse time. It's happening all the same time simultaneously. And you have to carry the intention of what you desire so that you can bring it all together. I'm going to turn off my camera. So that will help you to really work with it so that you can manifest, create what you want. So one of the things I'm going to leave you real quick, and I will do more of a training on this because I'm teaching it in Next Level Living next month, is, you know, many people are like, we used to do a day in the life where you write a day in the future, or we would do like meditation where you go into the future. You can do that to get an idea, but bring it into now. Really bring it into now, bring it into your physical being. And I know a lot of people talk about that. You have to know how you feel and you have to feel it and it's actually happening. But I want you to bring it so much in your now with your eyes open, with you walking down the road. I want you to be it. I want you to notice that it's happening right now. And also, there's a way that you can look at time, and you can look at it in a way like I'm looking at 5:19 p.m. right now, but I can go into 5:19 p.m. into a whole nother existence, and it can have what I desire. So I haven't fully gone into that training yet because that's a download that's just starting to come in. And like I said, I'll teach a little bit about this, but this is the stuff that we're teaching that I'm teaching in Next Level. I have to say we, because it is a really great collective in there, in Next Level Living. So besides my guides are a collective. So if you're interested in coming to that, go to marilynaloria.com/next. I just turned my video back on. All right, guys, I'm going to stop it here. 33 minutes. Woohoo! Let's see if we can get these down to 30 minutes. Let me know what you think about the shorter things. Here's the last thing. And plus my dog is just barking, 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 which my neighbors must love, right? Go to Apple Podcast, find my podcast. Whoops, I'm going to pull it up. And find the show. Don't go to the episode. Find the show. So you have to go to the library, go to the show, find the podcast. Where is it? I'm going to find my podcast. And then if you go to, you'll see, go to the bottom. It'll say ratings and reviews, tap to rate. You can tap to rate it. And then I'm not sure how you write a review. It seems like they don't have it any longer. So the next, oh, here it is, write a review. It's right underneath the stars. And you can write a review right under the stars. It says write a review. I would really love that. That would be amazing. I'd also love to know if you like these shorter podcasts and what you would like to learn. So you can email us at info@marilynaloria.com and let us know. Thank you so much. Much love to all of you. Bye.